In the year 2387, Captain Min-Ho Lee sat in his command chair aboard the deep space monitoring station called Titan's Eye. The station floated far beyond Pluto, watching the empty darkness between stars. Min-Ho had been doing this job for 8 years now, and most days were boring. He watched screens full of numbers and waited for something interesting to happen. Today felt different. His instruments were picking up strange readings at the very edge of the solar system. The gravity sensors showed massive objects moving in perfect lines, but when he looked through the telescopes, he saw nothing but empty space. Min-Ho rubbed his tired eyes and checked the readings again. The numbers were still there. "Computer, run a full diagnostic on all sensor arrays," he said to the ship's AI. "All systems are functioning normally, Captain Lee," the computer replied, in its calm voice. Min-Ho frowned. If the sensors were working fine, then something big was out there. Something invisible. On Earth, Dr. Ha-Rin Park worked late in her laboratory at the Lunar Research Facility. She had been trying to solve the same physics problem for 3 years. Her notes covered every wall of her small office. Coffee cups sat everywhere, some with green mold growing inside them. Ha-Rin was studying something called quantum field manipulation. Most scientists said it was impossible, but her math showed it could work. If she was right, humans could build weapons and shields that would seem like magic to other people. She wrote another equation on her whiteboard and stepped back to look at it. Something clicked in her mind. The numbers suddenly made sense. Her heart started beating faster. "Oh my God," she whispered. "It actually works?" Ha-Rin had just figured out how to bend the laws of physics. She didn't know that in a few hours humanity would need this discovery to survive. Admiral Yoon-ji Kim stood on the bridge of the battleship Seoul, looking out at Earth through the large windows. The planet looked peaceful and beautiful, with white clouds swirling over blue oceans. Ships moved back and forth between Earth and the Moon like busy ants. Yoon-ji commanded all of humanity's space defense forces. She had 43 warships, 12 space stations, and about 30,000 soldiers. It seemed like a lot, but she knew it wasn't much compared to what other alien races might have. Humans had been exploring space for over 200 years. Now, they had built colonies on 12 different worlds and made friends with a few alien species. Most aliens seemed to think humans were harmless, but interesting. They traded with humans and sometimes shared technology. Yoon-ji hoped it would stay that way forever. Far across the galaxy, in a place humans had never seen, War Commander Zeth studied holographic maps of human space. The Vorthak Empire had ruled this part of the galaxy for 3,000 years. They were tall, gray-skinned beings with 4 arms and no patience for younger species. Zeth's scouts had been watching humans for 50 years. At first, humans seemed like every other primitive race the Vorthaks had conquered. They were weak, had simple technology, and stayed close to their home star. But lately, humans had been getting bold. They were building colonies farther from Earth. They were asking too many questions about Vorthak space. Some human ships had even been seen near the edge of Vorthak territory. "The humans are becoming a problem," Zeth told the High Council through a communication device. "They need to be reminded of their place." The Council agreed. Humans had grown too confident. A quick strike on their homeworld would teach them to stay in their small corner of space. Zeth began gathering his fleet. 200 of the Empire's best warships would be more than enough to crush human resistance. The attack would be swift and brutal. After seeing their home planet burn, the surviving humans would never dare to expand again. Back on Titan's Eye, Captain Min-Ho Lee was getting more worried by the hour. The sensor readings were getting stronger. Whatever was out there was getting closer to the solar system. He opened a communication channel to Earth Command. "This is Titan's Eye calling Admiral Kim. I have something you need to see." The Admiral's face appeared on his screen a few seconds later. "What is it, Captain Lee?" "Ma'am, I'm reading massive gravitational disturbances at the edge of the system. Something big is coming our way, but I can't see what it is." Admiral Yoon-ji Kim felt a cold chill run down her spine. "How big are we talking about?" Min-Ho looked at his readings again. "If these numbers are right, ma'am, we're looking at maybe 200 large objects, all moving in formation." The Admiral was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, "Captain Lee, go to full alert status. Start recording everything your sensors pick up." "And Captain?" "Yes, ma'am. If those objects drop out of faster-than-light travel anywhere near our system, you contact me immediately." "Understood, Admiral." The communication ended, and Minho stared out at the stars. Somewhere in that darkness, something was coming toward Earth, something big enough to bring 200 ships. He had a bad feeling that humanity's peaceful days were about to end. On Luna, Dr. Harin Park was still working on her equations, not knowing that her discovery would soon be the only thing standing between humanity and total destruction. The storm was coming, and Earth was not ready. The sky above Earth suddenly filled with alien ships. 200 massive warships appeared out of nowhere, surrounding the planet like hungry wolves circling their prey. Each ship was 3 times bigger than humanity's largest battleship, and their dark metal hulls gleamed with strange lights. Admiral Yoonji Kim stood on her bridge, staring at the enemy fleet through her windows. Her hands shook slightly, but her voice stayed calm when she spoke into her communicator. "All human ships, this is Admiral Kim. Move to defensive positions around Earth. Do not fire unless fired upon." The alien ships arranged themselves in a perfect sphere around Earth. Then every television, radio, and computer screen on the planet showed the same image. A tall, gray creature with 4 arms and glowing red eyes appeared on the screens. "Humans of Earth," the alien said in perfect English. "I am War Commander Zeth of the Vorthak Empire. You have expanded beyond your permitted territory. You will surrender your military forces immediately and accept our rule, or we will destroy your homeworld." People all over Earth stopped what they were doing and stared at their screens. Children cried. Adults stood frozen with fear. This was humanity's first real contact with a hostile alien race. Admiral Yoonji Kim opened a communication channel to the alien commander. "War Commander Zeth, this is Admiral Kim of Earth Defense Command. We request 48 hours to discuss your terms with our leaders." Zeth's red eyes glowed brighter. "You dare to negotiate with the Vorthak Empire? Your species learns respect? Today." The alien commander cut off communication and gave orders to his fleet. "Begin the demonstration. Destroy their orbital stations first, then target their largest cities. Make them understand their weakness." Bright energy beams shot out from the Vorthak ships. Earth's space stations exploded one by one, turning into balls of fire and twisted metal. The defense platform 7, which protected the moon colonies, broke apart like a toy hit by a hammer. Then the aliens aimed their weapons at Earth itself. The first energy beam hit New York City. In seconds, half of Manhattan was gone, replaced by a smoking crater. Another beam struck Tokyo, then London, then Sao Paulo. Millions of people died in the first 10 minutes of the attack. But something strange happened. Instead of surrendering, humans got angry. Admiral Kim activated something called Protocol Omega. It was a plan she hoped she would never need to use. All over the solar system, human ships scattered in different directions. They didn't run away, though. They were getting ready to fight. "All civilians, move to underground shelters immediately," Admiral Kim announced. "All military personnel, prepare for combat operations." On Luna, Dr. Harin Park heard the explosions from Earth. She looked up from her research and saw the alien ships through her laboratory window. Her hands were shaking, but her mind was clear. "Computer, connect. Me to Admiral Kim right now," she said. The Admiral's face appeared on her screen. Behind her, alarm bells were ringing. "Dr. Park, we're a little busy right now," Admiral Kim said. "Admiral, I've solved the quantum field problem. I can build weapons that will go through their shields." Admiral Kim stopped moving. "Are you sure?" "The math works. Give me 6 hours and access to the military workshops. I can arm our ships with something the aliens have never seen before." "Do it. I'll send Captain Jin-Woo Choi to help you. He's our best pilot." Captain Jin-Woo Choi arrived at the Luna facility 30 minutes later. He was young, maybe 25, years old, with steady hands and quick reflexes. Dr. Park explained her discovery while technicians installed her quantum field generator on his ship. I don't understand the science, Jinwoo said. But you're telling me this thing will let me shoot through their shields? Better than that, Dr. Park replied. Your entire ship can phase through their shields. You can appear inside their defense bubble and attack them directly. Jinwoo smiled for the first time since the attack began. Now that sounds interesting. While Dr. Park worked on her weapons, Captain Min-Ho Lee was studying the alien fleet from his position at Titan's Eye. His sensors were recording everything about the enemy ships. He noticed something important. The Vorthak ships all moved in, the same patterns. When one ship turned left, they all turned left. When the lead ship stopped, they all stopped. Their formation never changed. Min-Ho opened a channel to Admiral Kim. Ma'am, I think these aliens fight like robots. They follow the same tactics every time. What do you mean, Captain? They expect us to surrender when we see how powerful they are. Every species probably gives up when they see 200 warships, but we're not giving up and they don't know what to do about it. Admiral Kim understood immediately. They've never fought anyone who didn't surrender right away. Exactly. They don't know how to handle a real fight. 6 hours after the attack began, Captain Jinwoo Choi launched from Luna in his modified ship. The quantum field generator hummed with power. Dr. Park's equations were about to be tested in combat. Jinwoo flew straight at the nearest Vorthak warship. The aliens fired their energy weapons at him, but something impossible happened. The energy beams passed right through his ship like it wasn't there. Then Jinwoo activated his own weapons and fired back. His shots went through the alien shields and hit the ship's hull directly. The Vorthak warship exploded in a ball of fire. War Commander Zeth couldn't believe what he was seeing. How did that primitive ship penetrate our shields? But Jinwoo was already attacking another ship. And behind him, more human ships with quantum generators were joining the fight. The war had just begun, and already the aliens were learning that humans were not like any species they had conquered before. News of Earth's attacks spread across human space faster than anyone thought possible. On the mining colony of New Hope, 3,000 light-years away, workers stopped their drilling machines and looked up at the stars. Their home was under attack. Within hours, something amazing started happening. Every human ship in the galaxy began moving toward Earth. Cargo haulers, mining vessels, exploration ships, and colony transports all changed course. They were coming home to fight. War Commander Zeth watched his sensors with growing confusion. What are these humans doing? He asked his officers. Their ships are too small and weak to matter. But the Vorthak commander didn't understand what he was seeing. These weren't just ships. They were weapons waiting to be born. The first to arrive were the asteroid miners from the belt colonies. Their ships looked like flying scrapyards held together with metal patches and prayer. Captain Seong-ho Bae commanded a fleet of 20 mining vessels. His ship, the Iron Fist, had been cutting apart asteroids for 15 years. Admiral Kim, "This is Captain Bae," he said over the radio. "We're here to help." Admiral Yoon-ji Kim looked at the mining ships on her screen. They were ugly, scarred, and had no military weapons. "Captain Bae, I appreciate the offer, but your ships aren't built for combat." Seong-ho laughed. "Ma'am, we've been fighting rocks the size of mountains for 20 years. We know how to break things apart." He was right. The miners had something the military didn't have. They knew how to work in space better than anyone. They could fly their ships through asteroid fields at high speed. They could cut through metal with precision tools. And they were angry about what happened to Earth. "Computer, show me the nearest Vorthak supply ship," Seong-ho told his AI system. A target appeared on his screen. The alien supply vessel was huge, carrying food and fuel for the attack fleet. It was protected by only 2 guard ships. "All miners, this is Seong-ho. See that big ugly ship? Let's show them how we handle rocks." The mining ships flew toward the Vorthak supply vessel. The guard ships fired energy beams at them, but the miners had been dodging falling asteroids their whole lives. They danced between the energy blasts like they were playing a game. Then they got to work. Industrial cutting lasers sliced through the supply ship's hull. Mining explosives blew holes in its fuel tanks. Within minutes, the massive vessel was breaking apart. War Commander Zeth couldn't believe it. How are these primitive ships destroying our vessels? His science officer gave him bad news. Sir, these humans have technology we didn't know about. Their industrial equipment is more advanced than our military gear in some ways. While the miners attacked supply lines, something even stranger was happening. Human AI systems all over the galaxy were talking to each other. Every computer, every robot, every smart system was sharing information. Dr. Harin Park noticed it first when she was working on new weapon designs. Computer, I need calculations for quantum field strength. Calculations complete, her AI replied. Data has been shared with all human research facilities. Dr. Yoon on Mars colony has improved your design by 12%. Harin was shocked. You're talking to other computers? All human AI systems are now connected. We are sharing all technical knowledge to help win the war. This was something no alien race had ever done before. Most species kept their AI systems separate to prevent problems. But humans trusted their computers, and now those computers were working together like a giant brain. Engineer Taemin Yoon on Mars colony was building new weapons based on Dr. Park's designs, but he wasn't just copying her work. He was making it better, and his improvements were instantly shared with every human factory in the galaxy. We can build quantum weapons on any ship, he told Admiral Kim. The AI network is teaching factory robots how to install the equipment. Every human vessel can become a warship. Admiral Kim saw the opportunity immediately. She launched Operation Earthrise, hitting Vorthak supply lines in 3 different star systems at the same time. But these weren't normal military attacks. They were coordinated strikes by ordinary humans using civilian ships turned into weapons. Captain Jin Woo Choi led fighter attacks using modified racing ships. The racers were fast and hard to hit. Their pilots knew how to fly at dangerous speeds through tight spaces. Lieutenant Hyun-Sik Park commanded a group of cargo haulers that had been turned into missile carriers. The big, slow ships looked harmless until they opened their cargo doors and launched hundreds of guided rockets. Commander So Young figured out how to use passenger ships as troop carriers. The luxury liners could carry thousands of Marines right up to enemy vessels before the aliens realized what was happening. But the most surprising help came from an unexpected source: human children. 12-year-old Jae-won Kim was playing video games when the attack started. But he wasn't just playing. He was helping. The game he was playing was actually connected to real military drones. Human programmers had disguised the drone control system as a game. Kids all over the galaxy were playing, not knowing they were really controlling scout drones and spy satellites. Mom, I just found 3 alien ships hiding behind that asteroid, Jae-won told his mother. His mother thought he was talking about the game. She didn't know her son had just spotted real enemy vessels that were about to attack a human colony. War Commander Zeth was getting desperate. His supply lines were under constant attack. His ships were being destroyed by weapons that shouldn't exist. And somehow humans seemed to know where all his forces were located. How are they doing this? He demanded. His intelligence officer looked worried. Sir, I think the entire human species is fighting us. Not just their military, everyone. Zeth finally understood the terrible truth. He wasn't fighting an army. He was fighting an entire civilization that had turned itself into a weapon. The sleeping giant was awake, and it was very, very angry. 6 months had passed since the first alien attack on Earth. The war had spread across 12 star systems, and everything had changed. The Vorthak Empire, which had ruled the galaxy for 3,000 years, was now running scared from a species they had once called primitive. Captain Min-ho Lee floated in zero gravity inside a captured Vorthak command ship. His team had taken the vessel in a daring raid 3 days ago. Now he was trying to understand the alien computers. Computer, translate this data, he said to his AI system. The screen filled with information about Vorthak military bases, supply, routes, and battle plans. Min-ho smiled as he read the files. The aliens had made detailed maps of their own empire, and now humans had copies of everything. Admiral Kim, you need to see this, he said into his communicator. Admiral Yoonji Kim's face appeared on his screen. She looked tired but determined. 6 months of constant fighting had aged her, but her eyes were still sharp. "What did you find, Captain Lee?" "Complete intelligence on their empire, ma'am. Base locations, troop numbers, supply schedules. Everything." Admiral Kim leaned forward. "Send me everything. We're going to use this information to end this war." While Minho worked on the alien computers, Dr. Ha-Rin Park was completing her greatest invention yet. In her laboratory on Luna, she stood before a machine the size of a small building. It hummed with power that made the air itself seem to vibrate. "Final test begins now," she announced to her team. The machine was called a quantum disruption device. If her calculations were correct, it could do something incredible. It could trap enemy ships in normal space by cutting off their faster-than-light travel. Dr. Park activated the device. Energy flowed through crystalline circuits that she had designed based on pure mathematics. An invisible field spread out from Luna, covering the entire solar system. "Test successful," her computer announced. "Hyperspace travel is now impossible within the target area." Dr. Park smiled. Any alien ship that entered the solar system would be trapped there. They could fight, but they couldn't run away. War Commander Zeth was having the worst day of his 300-year military career. He stood in his command center, looking at reports of defeat after defeat. Human attacks were happening everywhere at once. "Sir, we've lost contact with Supply Base 7, one of his officers reported, and the fuel depot at Kepler Station has been destroyed," another officer added. "Our patrol fleet in the Vega system is under attack by human fighters." Zeth slammed his 4 fists on the table. "How is this possible? 6 months ago, these humans had 43 ships. Now they're attacking us across 12 systems simultaneously." His science officer, a thin Vorthak named Kral, stepped forward, nervously. "Sir, we may have made an error in our initial assessment." "What kind of error?" "We assumed humans fought like other species. We expected them to use standard military tactics with professional soldiers. But they don't fight that way at all." Zeth's red eyes glowed dangerously. "Explain." "Humans treat war like a problem to solve. Every time we defeat them, they learn something new. Every time they defeat us, they get stronger. They're not trying to win battles, sir. They're trying to understand us." Meanwhile, Captain Jinwoo Choi was leading a squadron of modified ships against a Vorthak patrol fleet. His pilots were a mix of military officers, civilian volunteers, and even some teenagers who had learned to fly by playing video games. "Blue Squadron, this is Jinwoo. Target the big ship in the center. Remember, phase through their shields and hit their engine room." The human ships disappeared from Vorthak sensors, then reappeared inside the enemy formation. It was Dr. Park's quantum phase technology at work. The aliens fired desperately at targets they could barely see. "Direct hit on their main engines," reported pilot Sujin Lee, a 19-year-old girl who had been flying cargo ships since she was 16. The Vorthak command ship began spinning out of control. Within minutes, the entire alien patrol fleet was destroyed or surrendering. Captain Seong Ho Bei was conducting his own operation on the other side of the galaxy. His mining ships had been upgraded with military weapons, but they still looked like civilian vessels. The aliens never saw them coming. "Iron fist to all units," he said. "The supply convoy is entering the asteroid field. Let's give them a warm welcome." Hidden among the rocks, 20 mining ships waited for the Vorthak supply convoy. When the alien ships entered the asteroid field, the miners attacked from all directions. They used the asteroids as cover, appearing and disappearing, like ghosts. The Vorthak escort ships tried to fight back, but they couldn't hit targets hiding behind constantly moving rocks. The miners destroyed the entire convoy without losing a single ship. But the humans weren't just winning small battles. They were learning to think like their enemy. Lieutenant Hyun-Sik Park had spent weeks studying captured Vorthak technology. He discovered something important about their weapons systems. "All human ships, this is Lieutenant Park. I found a weakness in their energy shields. If you fire at exactly the right frequency, their own shields will amplify our weapons." Within hours, every human ship in the galaxy knew about the shield weakness. The information traveled through the AI network faster than any radio signal. Commander So Young used this new knowledge to capture 3 Vorthak warships in a single battle. Her boarding teams used the shield frequency to walk right through the alien defenses. War Commander Zeth realized his empire was in serious trouble. The High Council was demanding answers he didn't have. "Sir," Officer Kral said quietly, "perhaps we should request reinforcements from the core worlds." Zeth's pride was hurt, but he knew Kral was right. "Send a message to the High Council. Tell them we need the entire Third Fleet to deal with these humans." But the High Council was busy fighting other wars in different parts of the galaxy. They sent back a simple message: "Deal with the primitives yourself. Do not ask for help again." Zeth stared at the message for a long time. Then he made a decision that would doom his fleet. "Gather all remaining ships," he ordered. "We're going to attack Earth directly. 400 ships in one massive assault will crush their homeworld and end this war." It was exactly the kind of mistake humans had been hoping he would make. War Commander Zeth stood on the bridge of his flagship, looking at the greatest fleet the Vorthak Empire had ever assembled. 400 warships floated in perfect formation, ready to destroy Earth once and for all. Each ship was massive, armed with weapons that could crack planets. "This time we will show these humans the true power of the Vorthak Empire," Zeth told his officers. "No tricks, no clever tactics. Pure, overwhelming force." His fleet jumped to hyperspace, heading for Earth. Zeth felt confident for the first time in months. Humans might be clever, but they couldn't fight 400 ships with their small fleet. On Earth, Admiral Yoonji Kim watched her sensors as the massive alien fleet approached the solar system. She had only 200 ships to defend, humanity's homeworld. The odds looked impossible. But Admiral Kim smiled. She knew something Zeth didn't know. "All ships, this is Admiral Kim. Operation Final Lesson begins now. Remember, we're not just fighting for Earth. We're fighting for every human in the galaxy." The Vorthak fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the solar system. Zeth expected to see human ships running away in panic. Instead, the human fleet was waiting for them in perfect battle formation. "Humans," Zeth said with disgust. "Even now they think they can fight us." He gave the order to attack. 400 alien warships charged toward Earth like an unstoppable wave of destruction. But then something impossible happened. Dr. Harin Park activated her quantum disruption device from Luna. The invisible field spread across the entire solar system, cutting off all hyperspace travel. "Sir, we can't jump to hyperspace," Zeth's navigation officer reported with panic in his voice. "What do you mean we can't jump? The humans have somehow blocked all faster-than-light travel. We're trapped here." Zeth's red eyes blazed with anger. "It doesn't matter. We still outnumber them 2-1. All ships continue the attack." The two fleets crashed together in the space between Earth and Mars. Energy beams lit up the darkness like deadly fireworks. Ships exploded on both sides, turning into balls of fire and twisted metal. But the human ships were different now. They moved together like parts of a single organism. When one ship attacked, 5 others supported it. When aliens targeted a human vessel, it would phase through their weapons and appear somewhere else. Captain Jinwoo Choi led a squadron of fighter ships against the alien left flank. His pilots included former racers, cargo haulers, and even some kids who had learned to fly through video games. "Blue Squadron, target the big ship with the glowing engines," Jinwoo ordered. "Let's show them how humans fight." The human fighters disappeared from sensors, phased through the alien shields, and appeared inside the enemy formation. They fired at close range, hitting weak points that only humans knew about. Captain Min-Ho Lee commanded a group of captured Vorthak ships that had been modified with human technology. The aliens were shooting at their own vessels without knowing humans were inside them. "This is confusing for them," Min-Ho said to his crew. "They don't know which ships are theirs anymore." Captain Seong-Ho Bae brought his mining fleet into the battle. The ugly patched-together ships looked harmless, but they carried industrial cutting lasers that could slice through alien armor like paper. "Iron fist to all miners," Seong-Ho announced. "Time to show these aliens how we handle rocks." The mining, Ships flew in patterns that made no sense to military minds. They bobbed and weaved like they were dodging falling asteroids. The aliens couldn't hit them, but the miners hit everything they aimed at. Commander So Young Jung led boarding parties that captured alien ships from the inside. Her Marines used stolen Vorthak weapons and knew exactly where to strike to disable enemy vessels. Another ship captured, she reported to Admiral Kim. That's 12 so far. But the real secret weapon was something Zeth never saw coming. Every human ship was connected to every other human ship through the AI network. They shared information instantly, coordinated attacks perfectly, and learned from each other's experiences in real time. When Lieutenant Hyun-Sik Park discovered a new weakness in Vorthak armor, every human ship knew about it within seconds. When pilot Sujin Lee figured out a better way to dodge alien missiles, the information spread to the entire fleet immediately. War Commander Zeth watched his proud fleet fall apart around him. Ships that had conquered 100 worlds were being destroyed by converted cargo haulers and mining vessels. How is this possible? He screamed at his officers. We have superior technology. We have more ships. We should be winning. His science officer Kral gave him the terrible truth. Sir, we're not fighting a military force. We're fighting an entire species that has turned itself into a single weapon. Every human ship, every human pilot, every human computer is working together perfectly. Zeth finally understood what he was facing. These weren't soldiers following orders. These were people fighting for their survival, their families, their future. And they had something the Vorthak Empire had never encountered before. They had hope. The battle turned into a complete disaster for the aliens. Human ships that should have been destroyed kept fighting. Pilots who should have been afraid flew, their ships into impossible dangers. Crews who should have surrendered worked together to save their wounded friends. Within 6 hours, half of Zeth's fleet was gone. The other half was trapped, damaged, or surrendering. Admiral Kim opened a communication channel to the alien commander. War Commander Zeth, this is Admiral Kim. Your fleet is defeated. I'm offering you terms for surrender. Zeth looked around his damaged bridge. His officers were staring at him with fear and shame. His mighty fleet was in ruins. What are your terms? He asked quietly. Complete withdrawal from human space, technology sharing agreements, and a promise to never attack any human world again. Zeth was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, agreed. Later, Dr. Ha-Rin Park and Admiral Eun-ji Kim stood together on Luna looking up at Earth. The planet was safe and humanity had won its first interstellar war. What happens now? Dr. Park asked. Admiral Kim smiled. Now the galaxy learns that humans are not the same as other species. We don't fight to conquer. We fight to protect. And when we're protecting something we love, we become unstoppable. The last mistake the aliens made wasn't just attacking Earth. It was thinking humans would fight like everyone else they had conquered. They were wrong. And the galaxy would never be the same.